On this episode of The Formula, I am sitting down with my friend Daniyal Sheikh. He is one of the co-founders of El Kabila, a new football club out of Dubai. And it's a good friend of mine. We met at NAS Summit earlier this year. I really enjoyed this conversation with him. I felt like it was really impactful for me. I learned a lot of stuff about maybe some things I forgot with mindsets, who you surround yourself with, how you approach things, taking big shots, how you spend your time. All kinds of stuff. It was a great conversation. I hope you enjoy it too. Now, without further ado, on to the show. Welcome to this episode of the Formula Podcast, where I chat with people all over the world about their experiences, habits, routines, whatever it takes for them to really build a fulfilling life, whatever that means to them. So today, I have my friend Dan. Dan, you and I met on a interesting, just like a random experience in Dubai.
Mm-hmm.
Like I came to this conference. I got a ticket last minute, flew over, and somehow we ended up playing a football match where I think I was clearly the best player on the field. And yeah, we didn't really talk much at the conference. Somehow we ended up on the same flight on the way back. I'm going to let you introduce yourself in a second and give more of intro than just Dan. I'm sure people want to know like what you're doing, what you're up to. But yeah, and then I guess we've just stayed in touch. We had breakfast in Bangkok and then had a great chat over a couple hours. And yeah, I've been a big fan from a distance from what you guys have been doing since then. So I wanted to have you on the show to talk about your business, routines, life in general, mindset. It seems like you're one of like the most, from at least from an outside perspective, I don't know what's going on in your head. From an outside perspective, you're just crushing it on like the mindset side of things, on the just in how you approach business, life in general. It seems to be that you've really kind of honed in on a solid process to get to like manifest things, get what you want, chase after big things. But I'm gonna let you speak for yourself now. So
appreciate this so much, bro. First, Trevor, thank you for having me on the podcast. Formal, semi-formal introduction. My name's Dan from Canada. But now based in Dubai. I am a social media marketing specialist, a content creator, a football club owner, and I also run a marketing agency, a six-figure marketing agency here in Dubai, and it was launched 1 year ago. So there's many things I do, but the main thing is I would categorize myself as an artist, a creative who likes to create, and that could be in anything: business, art, videos, photos, literally anything. So that's a formal, semi-formal introduction, and it was super interesting, like the way we met. Like, I remember it was the last day at the NAS Summit in Dubai. And this was actually my last day in Dubai as well. I was going to go to Bali, Bangkok, and then Bali. And I wanted to take a picture with my team. And I saw you and I was like, hey, bro, do you mind taking a photo of us? And then, you're like, yeah, no worries. You took a photo. And then I ended up chatting with you for like 10 minutes. And I was like, yo, that's so cool. Let's stay in touch. I like your vibe. And then we're on the plane, me and my business partner. And you come sit beside me. Or you're beside me or behind me?
I don't even remember. I just remember I was like sleeping and I like popped my head up and I was like, wait a minute, like you're at the summit. That's all. I don't really remember much other than that. So
I think you were beside me and we had like a 40-minute chat on the airplane, and like we were like super vibing, and I was like, you're going to Bangkok too? That's so crazy. So literally from the airport to a really nice cafe in Bangkok, we literally spent like the next 5 to 6 hours in Bangkok together, had a really, really wonderful coffee, really good chat, breakfast. And since then we've been connected, and I have to say, like, I like what you stand for, the mindset, the vibe, and that's why I'm here. That's why we're connected.
Well, it's funny because I felt like when I went to that conference, I was feeling a bit lost, and I was just like, man, what am I doing? Like, I've been running this business for a while. I don't know. I just wasn't really, I think you said it, you were like, oh, when we first talked, it didn't feel like you were very present. And actually from that conversation, that stemmed a bunch of just like kind of going back to my roots of mindset stuff, rereading books I read in the past, like Awaken the Giant Within by Tony Robbins. I really, really like that book, just like the habits, how he kind of sets up how to design your life within it. Not really like looking in the mirror and shouting like, man, I got this every day, but more like what types of physical habits can you build, mental health habits, things like that. Make sure you're prioritizing those things even over like your business and
Hmm.
things like that. So yeah, so I owe you a thank you from that conversation, because I feel like I've definitely gotten things back on track since then, and I'm working on like that trip to Peru was a paid gig. Like I got paid to go shoot video
No way.
for like 5 days. Yeah, and it was something I wanted to do for a while, but I hadn't
Hmm.
really even like pitched it or proposed it. And yeah, I went down there and did a crazy hike, got paid for the whole thing, and now I'm working on like a bunch more deals in like Ecuador and South America. So
Dude, no
so
way.
I
How did you get
appreciate.
about getting that Peru gig? I'm so curious. By the way, that's amazing.
Yeah, thank you. So how I got the Peru gig was I've been working with this adventure travel company,
Mm.
Embark, for a while. We just randomly met on another hike in Mexico a few years ago, and I've been doing their like lead gen for a while. And they've been like, oh, you should come on a trip and shoot video. We've seen some of the stuff you've done; it's pretty good. And I was like, yeah, maybe I'd like to, but let me think about it. And then finally, I think it was right after Dubai, I was like, you know what, I really don't feel satisfied with like just running ads anymore. Like, yes, it pays the bills, but
Mhm.
I want more creativity. I want to feel like I'm having more of an impact.
Mhm.
So I felt like I went there, I shot video for them, but then I also shot video for myself. So I kind of like leveraged that paid gig to shoot some stuff that I wanted. And that's a
Mhm.
whole another story of getting altitude sickness and, and like riding a horse through the
Whoa,
mountains and like craziness, man. But
that's
yeah,
insane.
that's
What
how I
was the
got it.
favorite part of? Because I really want to go to Peru. Like, I really, really want to go to Peru. What was the
Mhm.
favorite part of the hike or Peru in general?
It's I would say two different things. Like the hike it looked like it was something out of Star Wars, man. It was like the terrain just looked
Yeah.
like stuff I've never seen before. Like, so
Hmm.
you're going one day and it's like sand dunes. The next day it's a glacier. The next day it's like just mountains with waterfalls coming off. It was just like
Oh man.
insane, man. And then just what I liked about Peru is the people. Like the people were super nice. Everyone was always, even like Cusco is a little touristy, but I just felt like, when you go to a touristy city, you expect people to kind of like try to rip you off and like sell you a
Yeah.
bunch of stuff. And there definitely was that there, but I felt like it was much more toned down. And I felt like the people were generally like kind and friendly and pretty caring overall. Yeah, I would say so. The people make Peru what it is, really.
That's beautiful, man. I'm curious. So right now in Toronto, right? I'm in Dubai at the moment. Whenever I travel, this is something I've found, and I want you to give me your input because I know you're also a big time traveler. So
Hmm.
when I'm in Dubai, when I'm in Ottawa, Canada, my home, I feel very closed in, like I'm in a box, and life isn't where it could be. For example,
Hmm.
when I'm in Bali, when I'm in Istanbul, when I'm in Japan, when I'm in Thailand, all these places, suddenly life becomes so exciting, alive. I'm living, I'm truly living. And it just feels like, wow, I'm supposed to be out here. But then you
Hmm.
come back to your work, you come back to Dubai, you come back to Ottawa, go back to Toronto, and suddenly, okay, just you're in a box again. Do you feel that way?
Sometimes I used to feel it a lot more.
Hmm.
I think man, this is a this is a complicated answer. So I feel like that. So if you probably heard the saying like wherever you go, there you are.
Hmm.
Right. So you just like bring yourself whatever baggage you have, good or bad, you're bringing it with you everywhere you go. So when
Yeah.
you're away, you have all this newness, and so I'll use myself as reference instead of you. But so when I go away, I have all this newness. I have all this stuff I want to do. I'm meeting new people. I'm going to new cafes, eating new food. There's just a lot of inputs going on. But then when you come back, all those distractions are gone.
Hmm.
So if you have whatever dissatisfaction that you carried with you that whole time that you were distracted from is now back. So maybe like for me, I feel like I've almost used travel as an excuse to continue, or like not as an excuse, but a distraction while I was building like this one business going one way. I was like, oh yeah, I don't really like it, but it allows me to travel all the
Hmm.
time. And then when I stopped traveling, I was like, man, I'm just cranky all the time. Like, like this place sucks. But it had nothing to do with the place. It had to do with the decisions I was already making. And if once I started changing those decisions, the place started to matter less. And I started to live a bit more when I came home. I started to appreciate it more, things like that. So I don't know if that's the same thing you're talking about, but that's been my experience with it.
I haven't looked at it that way, to be honest. But recently I read this page from the book called The Daily Stoic, Ryan Holiday, I believe.
Mm,
And one of the lines was, this page was about self-development and the pursuit of self-development. But people get lost in this journey, and they get lost in this journey of being attracted by the shiny things. The benefits
mhm,
you get from like having a six pack, benefits of earning a lot of money, benefits of doing a really cool job. So it pretty much asks you, why are you doing some things? Are you traveling because you want to experience, make an impact, meet more people? Or are you traveling because you want to escape something? And now that you just brought this up, and I'm thinking, am I trying to escape things? Is that what's going on when I'm traveling? Or is it the latter? So that's an interesting view that you have on there.
yeah.
If I had to say, my mind wants to say, like, I'm very, very stimulated when I'm traveling, when I meet people like
Mhm,
you, when I meet people in Bali, and it's just like so sudden. It stimulates my brain to a very high degree. And it's like it's unexpected. But when you
mhm,
come back to hometown, I feel like it's too regular to a point where there's not so much stimulation. And maybe I'm just someone who likes so many things going on. It
mhm,
keeps me, I guess, distracted, keeps me more alive. And I actually heard of a term called traveler's curse. They have a lot of fun traveling,
mhm,
make the best memories, and they come back and they're like, life's boring. So
yeah.
something I'm always fighting. Fun fact: I'm actually traveling to Lisbon tomorrow. My plan is in
Nice.
December I'm gonna make a visit to Istanbul, and then January maybe South Africa. Bring the light back to life, you know. But
Nice. Yeah.
yeah, for sure, bro.
Yeah. So when you go to Lisbon, have you heard of a place called Sintra?
Yes, I actually lived in Lisbon 3.5 years ago for like
Whoa.
a
Okay.
month and a half or so. And Sintra, I went there
Mhm.
once. Beautiful. It's Have you been there?
Yeah.
It's so like at
No,
the
but
very
my
yeah.
yeah, I really want to go because like my fiance, she went to Lisbon for Web Summit, and then when she was done, she went out and booked a week in Sintra, and she was sending like pictures and videos and everything, and I was like, damn, that just looks amazing.
So nice. You go to the very top. You have to take this train that takes you all the way to, I think it's like 45 minutes. And I'm telling
Yeah.
you, it's like castle, so many trees, and you see like all of Lisbon. It's insane.
Yeah.
Beautiful.
Yeah. I would love to. I just love outdoor stuff like that, so it'd be sick to
Oh
go.
man. Lisbon's like honestly so beautiful. I'm missing Ottawa, I'm missing Lisbon, I'm missing nature right now because if you've been to Dubai, which you have, you know how
Mhm.
like treeless it is. It's just sand and concrete.
Yeah, it's true. There's not really much nature in Dubai when you walk
Mhm.
outside. I mean, there's beautiful buildings all over, but it's not quite the same.
Yes.
So I want to ask you about so before. I mean, we can definitely talk about more travel stuff, but I want to bring it back to some of the business pieces. So you mentioned like your most recent project is I don't think it's fair to even call it project. Your most recent business you started was this football club with
Yes.
I'm drawing a blank on
So,
your friend, your business partner.
yeah.
Sorry, Sahil.
Sohail.
So yes, okay.
Yeah.
And you guys, I don't. You guys are just going on this crazy journey right now, launching a football club, which I've
Mhm.
never seen anyone just try to launch a football club from, just like. And this is what I was talking about earlier in the episode, where like you pick something that's like a crazy. Like I'm sure it's not that crazy. I'm sure it's doable. Lots of people have started clubs before, but from a like 0 to 100 standpoint where you're documenting everything, I don't know. Maybe like I've never seen the Ryan Reynolds show, so I don't know what
Mhm.
that's like, but
Yeah.
I've never seen anything like this, so I'm curious like how that's going, like what's going on there. And then I just have this question of, you seem to go after these very difficult or perceived to be difficult or different goals,
Mhm.
and like where does that come from? What's the mindset behind that? I want to talk about all these things, so
Okay.
wherever
And I have so many
wherever you're
answers.
comfortable starting.
First you ask, how did I come about this football journey idea? And I'm telling you, it literally came from 0 to 100 like in less than like 2 hours. So we've been documenting. So I am my friend's creative director. His name's Sohail. He's a professional football player, and we've helped him. I've helped him like document his professional journey as how to become a pro football player. So over like the 4, 5, 6 years, we've massed about like 1 million plus followers, and there's a massive fan base that trusts us for football tips. They know that we're just like them. We're trying to make it, but we're being authentic about it. So me and my business partner, we do everything, almost everything together. All my businesses, we're just like the dynamic duo. One of the nights, Sohail comes back from his training and he gets just this really bad news that they weren't taking him seriously, and he has only like 1 week to sign for a club, and the club that he was training for was pretty much leaving him in the dark, which is expected in football. Football is a cutthroat industry. No one's nice to you. It's like dog eat dog. It's pretty rough. And we were just sitting in like the living room, just like I was frustrated, he was frustrated, and we were just like, man, why is football so annoying? Why is there no one authentic out there? Like, why can't it just be like good people running something? And we just looked at each other, and Soho said, like, why don't we just fix that? I'm like, why don't we? And he literally goes to me like, do you want to build a pro football club? And I said, why not? Let's fucking do it. And he was like, yo, let's do it. And literally, I'm telling you, from that point, the next 2 hours, magical. Like our frequencies are this high. We're creating. I'm literally sitting like on this side of where I'm sitting right now. And we're just talking back and forth for like 2 hours, talking about all the ideas, how we want to do like the perfect football club. And it makes sense. I've been in the football industry for the last 10 years of my life. Sohel, he's a professional footballer, and we know how to do things right. We both have an extensive set of skills that we know how to utilize. We're marketing geniuses. And we were like, you know what? If we want something done right, we're going to do it ourselves. And the perceived going after the difficult task, I think the way I view a lot of my journeys and ventures is more so whenever I see a challenge, a thing I want to achieve, I know deep down in my core that I have what it takes. I know deep down that I have faith in myself that wherever I'm going to end up is going to be abundant. It's going to be so blessed. And I'm just waiting for time to catch up. So when I see opportunities like this, I'm like, I don't even hesitate because I know immediately I'm meant to do this.
Mm.
So does that
Where
answer
does that come
that?
from?
What's that?
Yeah, where does that come from?
The confidence?
Yes.
That's a tough one. I've talked about this to a lot of people, and I would say I had this belief since I was a kid. Like literally, I'm telling you,
Mhm.
like a 6, 7 year old kid. I just knew I was meant for something big. I just knew. And whenever I'm doing something that's minimizing me, I can literally feel it in my gut, like my solar plexus. I'm so
Mm.
sensitive to knowing what's not for me, what is for me. And whenever something is blocking me in, like for example, for me a 9 to 5 job is just there's no way. Like I don't feel right.
Mm.
If I don't feel right, I'm like, this isn't for me. So just that massive belief that I'm supposed to do great things. I have obviously a lot of things that I do it for my purposes to help the people around me. I've gone through a lot of adversity in my life, and I want to provide tools and resources for the people like me who want to make it. I want to help my family. I want to retire my parents and make an impact on the people around me because that's what really matters. But all this fuels me to actually go do all these things. So there's purpose and there's just the self-belief that hey, I'm meant for something great.
Mhm.
And I would say I'm just blessed to naturally have it. It wasn't I just always had that.
Yeah. So do you ever have doubts or anything like that, or is it something where you're just so concrete in your mindset that when something comes up, you just kind of discard it?
Yeah, so doubts. It's a funny thing because I had a lot of doubts 3 years ago. I quit my 9 to 5 job that was making me 60 grand a year, and I quit that job to book a one way ticket to Spain with my friend Sohail. And our goal was we're gonna go there, become influencers, we're gonna do media marketing, and we're gonna make it. And that year, like I think I came down to $5 left in my account, and like it
Yeah.
was like $5 to $10 for the next 3 months. I was like just
Mhm.
barely making it. We were hustling. We were trying to do TikTok, YouTube, and like life is like difficult. And at those moments where you don't have any resources and it's just like me and him, yes, I had a lot of doubts. I was like, man, it's just not cut for me. Why am I not succeeding at this? And there were
Mhm.
so many moments in the journey that year and the year after where we looked at each other. We said, like, should we go back home to Canada? Should we call it off? And I'm lucky to have him as my business partner, and he's lucky to have me. Like whenever he said to me, like, "Hey, I think we should call it quits," I've told him, "No, we've come too far." And whenever I'm down, he holds me up and he says, "No, we've come too far. We're gonna keep going forward." And that was the biggest thing: consistency, that discipline, like of just moving forward and not stopping. And
Mhm.
now it's to a point where I've realized, like, luckily, like everything has worked out really well, and my mindset has developed to everything that's happening is happening for me, not to me. So literally everything that happens, there's no bad things happening in my life now.
Mhm.
And I'm happy to say I don't have any doubts at the moment. And I haven't doubted anything for the last year and a half. But 3 years ago, yes, there were a lot of like hiccups in the journey. And it was just about self-belief and like trusting that something great is awaiting you. Whatever you're seeking is coming your way and it's seeking you as well. I love to look at it that way. I'm seeking abundance, and abundance is looking for me.
Nice. Yeah, that's so if somebody's I feel like a lot of people out there, I think that you're very fortunate to have like the mindset from childhood, plus you have a right-hand person, a business partner that's basically like keeping you on track. You guys are doing well, I should say you guys are doing it for each other. And I think this is pretty common like with what happened like during like COVID, and
Hmm.
I think there's a lot of like people resetting their lives, a lot of like with
Hmm.
massive layoffs, all kinds of things going on, right? How, like, let's say somebody's gone through some adversity, some loss, some
Hmm.
challenges. How do they develop that type of mindset? And how do they really become a believer in everything's happening for me versus to me?
I would say when you're at a stage where you haven't developed the mindset, it's difficult because in the moment you don't have the perspective. You're not able to see things. You're not able to zoom out and see things as a whole. You look at things short term. But I'll answer this more so how I would advise myself if I was younger.
Mm. Yep.
I think a couple of things. I think your circle and who you're around makes a big difference. If you've got a circle of people that don't want to do big things, guess what? It's going to define you. When you're going through adversity, your circle can really show you, okay, do I go out here? Do I just go drink now? Do I go party? Do I go like date girls to like fill the void in my chest? Or if my circle is people like David Goggins, I'm watching podcasts. I'm reading books. I have friends that want to do business and they want to achieve big things too. Guess what? You're naturally gonna find ways to get through adversity. So first thing for me is like always like your circle and what you're consuming, and your consumption and your circle like really 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 defines who you are. For me, like as harsh as it may sound, I started cutting people off like a while ago because I knew, okay,
Mm.
these guys don't want to do big things, I want to do big things. And I was
Mm.
harsh with letting people around me dictate the way I was going to be and who I was going to be. A big one was also like my family. Like I didn't cut them off, but they always told me, no, don't do this, you're not going to make it, and you should quit now, you're in a rough spot, go do a 9 to 5. You want to be around people that are going to give you the positive news, keep going. And that honestly makes a big difference. And now putting aside like external, let's look internal. The biggest thing that allows you to go through adversity and like come out stronger is confidence. And how do you develop confidence? It's consistency. It's saying, I'll do this, I'll get to this meeting on time, and you show up on that time. You tell yourself, look, I did it. And the more promises you make to yourself and you show yourself, I'm reliable, I can get this done, I'm consistent, guess what? Confidence keeps going up. Now, when you're hit with adversity, you have the confidence like, no, if I really want to get out of it, I can get out of it. But if you've taught yourself that you're not reliable, you're going to feel terrible. You're not going to have the confidence to actually get out of that situation of adversity. You're gonna go back home. You're gonna quit. You're gonna go for the easier route. So I would say these are the two main things that I value when it comes to like adversity. It's myself, my work ethic. How do I trust myself? And the people around me. And right now, like my circle, I would say fantastic. Like they're
Hmm.
all gonna push me up. They're always gonna say, no, keep going. No one in my circle is
Yeah.
gonna say it's time to quit.
Damn. I don't know anybody who has that much faith in their circle. I've heard a lot of people say like, you should, it's like you're the culmination of like the five people you spend the most time with, right?
Mhm.
So, but I do think that that support, that belief, like to not have anyone in your circle that's like, no, I just don't know if you're like meant to do that, it's like
Mhm.
nobody actually knows that, right? Only you do.
Mhm.
So I think to have that support is really strong. So your journey, you were in Spain, you're becoming influencer, and how did you go from there, where you were struggling, you have $5 in your pocket or bank account,
Mhm.
to now you have multiple organizations that you're working on that
Yes.
are, I mean, you have a very big goal that you're working on with starting the club. What's the name of the club, by the way?
It's called Al Qabila in Arabic, that translates to the tribe.
The tribe. Okay, very cool. So you're now doing this.
Mhm.
Like, how much time between Spain and now in Dubai? How much time passed?
So it's been about 2 years, two and a
Okay,
half years.
okay. So that happened relatively quickly then.
Mhm.
So what transpired in those 2.5 years?
The biggest thing was a switch in mindset. And this is where I think traveling really comes in handy. So, my first time I went to Dubai, I was in a really bad spot financially, and we were thinking about quitting the journey. And I decided, you know what, we're going to take this summer and reassess what we're going to do moving forward. And I went to Bali. And me being in Bali just opened my eyes to the way you can live life. If you believe in manifestation, creation, Bali taught me all these things. And I was like, wow, there's a lot more to this world than I see it. I'm seeing it in 2D, but it's in 4D, it's in 5D. There's so many more dimensions of looking at things. So being in Bali, traveling Southeast Asia really opened up my mind. And I was just like, whoa, there's this world is so big. It's not this. And when I came back to Dubai that summer, me and my business partner, we were just talking like on the floor. We were on the floor. We're like, man, this is so much work to do. We can't like do all this work by ourselves. And it had never clicked before. We were always just used to trading our time for money. We decided to say, you know what? This money that I'm earning, I'm not going to pay myself. I'm going to pay it to someone else and they're going to do the job for me. And in that moment, I know it sounds simple, but in that moment for us, it was like, whoa, I never thought about it that way. How about I stop trading my time for money and I start using my money to buy me more time? Because time is a lot more valuable. I can make a lot more money with time. So that was the pivoting moment where we decided, you know what? We want a team. We want a team of hustlers and we're going to teach them and they're going to do the job for us. So we hired our first guy, hired the second guy 3 months later. And 4 months later, we had our admin in. And next thing you know, I went from I do all the work from being a worker, making the money like hand in hand to, wow, I have a business now. I have a business that could scale up to $1 million suddenly from it being capped to like 60 to 100 grand to now $1 million. So with the same mindset of using my resources the proper way, I just kept getting introduced to like top environments. And then from there, it was just like build and build and build. But overall, like what's really sparked it, it was just that understanding of your time is the most valuable thing. And you are like the big hitter. You're going to take the big swings. You can't be working on things that don't make you a lot of money.
Mm-hmm.
Use your money, like, keep a little bit of money in your bank account, but use that money to make yourself more time and make those big swings, because those big swings is what's gonna really make an impact. And I
Mm-hmm.
know I swing big. Like I can't be stuck doing like errands. So that mindset, it makes you a businessman, and that business mindset allows you to create opportunities, systems, and projects. For example, this one, Al Kabila FC, and we've managed to allocate our resources. Media marketing on the side, it's running. Football club, our content's being made, and we said, you know what, we're gonna try something crazy. And successfully in the first like 39 days, we've massed like 60 million plus views in the journey. And
Damn.
that's just the beginning, right? So for me, it's all about like my time and just that pivoting yourself and using your time as like a resource rather than using your money as a resource rather than using your time as a resource. That's what I meant to say.
Yeah. No, I think it's like there's a book. It's called E-Myth. The E-Myth, and it talks
Yeah.
about, do you want to be the baker or do you want to own the bakery?
Yes.
And I think I think that's where a lot of people get caught up, is like, I'm a good marketer and now I'm going to open a I'm going to go from being a marketer to a marketing business, but then you're like still doing everything, or you haven't like, you're not acting like the owner, you're acting like the baker.
Mhm.
So I think that's a, yeah, I think it's an easy trap to fall into, where you're like, well, I can do it better than this person or than
Yeah.
hiring someone, so I'm just going to do it. But if you just keep doing it, then your time is just keeps getting less and less. So when you say big, take the big swings, what types of
Mhm.
activities are you talking about? Are you talking like going to these events like the NAS Summit, Time to Launch Kabila? Like, what are the activities you're doing that are like the most valuable for your business at this point in time that you say are like the big swings?
So when I say big swings, I mean finding sponsors, connecting with investors, connecting with people that can connect me to new clients. So if I'm stuck doing, video editing and video content creation for my company, I'm not able to actually go out there and find me new clients. So a simple example was, you know what, find myself a resource, and like even if the quality drops a little bit, get the work done, and I'm gonna go focus on getting myself that next big client. And like
Yeah.
those are the big swings. I'm gonna go focus on developing my mindset to understand how business works better. That's a big swing because you understanding how to move forward, right? let me find another example of big swings. Another one is like networking. Networking is like the main one. It's like everyone
Hmm.
can do video editing and content, but who's able to network, who's able to connect, who's able to close a deal. And I have me and my business partner, we have that skill to close the deal, but my employee might not, right? So
Yeah.
that's where you got to utilize what are you good at and focus on those things rather than focusing on everything.
Yeah. Yeah. That makes sense. How do
Personally,
you figure out
I'm
what
curious.
you're,
Have you like
sorry?
on your end? I know you also run a business and you have a team. Like, what are your
Yeah.
thoughts on?
Yeah, so it's funny because before, so there's been a multiple phases in my business. I've been running it
Mhm.
since like 2017 or so. And pre like up to 2020, I had basically like, okay, I had kind of built out the systems. I had built out what I needed in order
Yeah,
to not to be the business owner, not like the baker. And then
yeah,
without me realizing it, like hosting this podcast, traveling, I was just spending all my time like networking and
hmm,
meeting people that either would introduce me to clients,
hmm,
become like somebody that we like partnered with on something. That was where almost all my time is spent. I spent almost none of my time doing any of the actual work. And then when COVID happened, we like almost all of our clients cut any external like third party businesses they were working with. Some of
yeah,
them shut down,
hmm,
and so I became more of the like, okay, well, like now I don't have the income to like pay people anymore, so I need to like
hmm,
just do it myself. So I actually taught myself how to do all these things and kind of became that person for a while.
yeah,
And now like one of the changes I'm making is I don't want to I don't want to do that. So like I just feel like I've noticed that it was much harder to grow to the level we were at before. And that was because I was spending my time delivering, like making the thing and delivering it versus finding the next, like taking that big swing, being like, okay, I have an idea for this project that I want to do. Who can I go partner with that would
hmm,
provide the funding for it? Like I just didn't have the time to go do that because I was like, oh, we need to get this campaign to done and then I need to meet
hmm,
with the client and deliver it. So it in a weird way, it's like I accidentally did it right the first time and then like I didn't realize it. So when
hmm,
I made those changes, I kind of prevented us from growing without
hmm,
knowing it because I was just like, ah, this has to be done. And then now I'm like, oh, okay. So
yeah.
this is actually the right path. So
So,
I think it's always like a learning thing too. Like your circumstances are going to change.
hmm,
You're going to learn new stuff. You might be tired of doing cold outreach and you kind of feel like
hmm,
being more involved in like a different
yeah.
aspect of the business. And I think that that's okay. You just have to recognize it and not like get too attached.
I think that's the thing. That's a very key thing they just said, recognizing it. That's where I've also called myself sometimes like I get into this negative trend, negative habit of doing something that's not really benefiting me as much as it could be. And it's just like it's just hardwiring that just kicks back in from before, you know? And
Hmm.
it's just remembering like, hey, I'm abundant, gotta make the big moves. Remember who you're
Hmm.
supposed to be.
Yeah. Now as we're doing that, I'm thinking about like I'm making a list in my head of all the things I'm going to stop doing because I'm
Yeah.
like, man, I should be doing more podcasts. I should be going to more events. I should be spending time thinking through what like I want to I want to do a film next year. So what do I need to do to get ready to do a film? Like
Mhm.
I need to make connections with people who can fund it. I need to know people. I should probably network with people who've made them before.
Yeah.
um, there's those things are probably like 10x more than me being like, let me check this ad campaign. How's the spend doing today? It's like,
Yeah.
no, man, like what? That's not going to get me anywhere.
Hmm. Definitely. By the way, it's super cool that you're making a film. I think that's what I heard. Um, I'd love to know
That's my
more
big
about
goal for next
yeah
year. So
for next year, 2024. Oh man, okay, you're gonna have to fill me in some time on what the script is, what the story is, because I'm also like a filmmaker at heart. So love,
nice.
love movies and films. We have
Yeah,
five
same.
minutes.
Okay.
If you have, ask me anything. I
Yeah.
have something I'd like to share as a closing off,
Yeah.
but I'm curious if you have anything in mind.
No, if there's something specific, I know you said you had that experience today that you wanted to talk about.
Mhm.
You went and did we were talking about float tanks and that
Mhm.
experience, and then you brought up, I can't remember what the acronym was that you said. It was something with
AOI,
like
yeah.
AOI. Yeah. So you want to talk about that, and then we can finish
Mhm.
your closing remarks and
Yes.
wrap up the
So
show.
quickly talking about it, because there's honestly so much to say, but I'll wrap it up in like a few words, in a few sentences. So I do a lot of ice baths, sauna, rejuvenation. I really focus on my body and like my mental clarity. And the facility that I go to, they actually introduced this new technology. It's like a think of the Captain America chamber. You go in there, but it's not cryo. You go in there, and it's got electromagnetic panels all around. You're supposed to stand in there like completely naked. And what it does, you close the door, and you're completely encaved in there. They play 520 hertz music, and it just like it's all around you. And these lights are not just light shows, light panels. They actually penetrate your skin, and they regenerate your DNA at like a very, very, very microscopic level. And it's like something insane, and it's brand new. And but I met the owner recently, so I did this. And at first I was a bit skeptical. I'm like, how does it work? How does this supposed to like detoxify my body? I'm just standing in like lights. But I was in there for like 15-20 minutes, and halfway through, like my mind, like I stopped thinking and I connected to source. And long story short, like I remembered who I was really supposed to be. And the first word after this whole 20-minute experience was like, I'm a warrior. How did I forget I'm a warrior? I have a big fucking goal, and I'm gonna achieve it. Nothing is gonna stop me. Nothing's gonna stop me from getting to my goal. So I came out of the chamber, and like I was, if you could see the look on my face, like I was fierce. Like I was speaking with conviction. My eye contact was like it was a bit too much. And I was like, wow, I haven't connected to this version of me in a very, very long time. So that being said, I realize who I am and what I'm supposed to do. I realize I have big goals, and it's just understanding and believing this abundant law that whatever you're seeking is also seeking you. Whatever you want to manifest in your life, it's already done. You just have to wait. You have to believe. You have to truly believe for just time to catch up. Time just needs to catch up. That's all. Whatever you want to do, like I know I'm gonna have a Bugatti. It's just I just gotta wait, like however long. I'm gonna have it soon, but I just know I'm gonna have it, right? So just this belief in yourself, belief in what's meant for you, and the best is gonna come your way is probably the most powerful thing that I've used in my last few years, and like leveling
Mhm.
up. And even in this journey, like I know I'm gonna go to Web Summit in Lisbon, and I'm gonna find my investor. Like I'm gonna find this investor that is gonna fund my football club, and he's somewhere there at Web Summit next week. So that being said, like that's the last takeaway. Something that I would love to share to the world is like believing whatever you want is also wants you, and it's coming your way. It's meant for you, and you just gotta let time catch up. You gotta put in the work, be consistent, and just wait for the rewards.
Yeah. I think on that note, we can probably wrap it up there. I think that's a great mindset. I think you have an awesome perspective. I think we should do a round two next year around this time after you've launched the club and like got started recruiting. I don't know how this process works. Maybe you've already
Mm.
started recruiting players or whatever, but
Yeah.
I know you said 365 days and you're a month in. So
Mhm.
yeah, let's do this again next year, and you can tell me talk about how the whole process went and how it feels to be a pro football club owner.
Definitely, bro. Send me your address once we get the kits developed, which is the next phase. I'm gonna get a personalized kit made for you, Trevor
Oh,
or
sick.
Carlson,
Thanks, man.
whichever one you want, and I'm gonna send you your way.
Cool. Well, I appreciate that. Yeah, so thanks for coming on the show. I think there's just like a ton of awesome. I mean, I find your mindset and your approach to things to be very admiring. I enjoy talking through these things with you, and I'm sure that you're gonna have nothing but like great success with this next venture. And I'm sure after that you're gonna have like something else you're gonna do too. So keep up the good work.
Thank you so much. I appreciate your words, bro, and thank you for holding space to listen and for allowing me to come on here and speak my mind and share these stories. It means a lot, bro, and appreciate you a lot.
Yeah, thanks.
Thanks for checking out this episode of the Formula Podcast. I hate asking for this, but if you don't mind, if you could leave us a quick review on Spotify, iTunes, whatever app you're watching or listening this on, that'd be great. It helps people like you find the show, helps me know that our message and the things I'm sharing are helping and you're learning some stuff from it, it's beneficial to your life in some way, let me know what you've learned or taken away from these 100+ episodes we've done so far. And, if you have any ideas for anything else you'd like to hear. But thank you for taking the time to listen. Super appreciate you, and enjoy the rest of your day. See you next time. Ciao.